which are very, very important, and together with the county assembly, because they have to submit this to the county assembly, indicate which measures they have put in place to prevent disaster, any mitigation measures, disaster preparedness and response, and how they are going to make recoveries, among many other things that they are supposed to do. So this allows them to do those regulations in collaboration with the county assembly. Thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 27H be now read a second time. I want to welcome the Honorable William Chepkut, my friend, who has been laid out for quite a bit of time. And it is this particular chair is happy to see you walking on your feet. Welcome. The Honorable Jared, member for Nyando.
Thank you. And I also welcome my brother, Honorable Chepkut, and we thank God for healing him. Honorable Speaker, this clause anchors the Disaster Committee in law, and it also gives the County Assembly an opportunity to now look at this issue in depth, including what relates to disaster. Because again, many things happen on a daily basis, and not all of them would qualify to be a disaster. So this gives them some latitude in determining what qualifies to be a disaster, the kind of regulations that will be governing the work of committees, together with the assemblies, and this relates to the budget that they will also be working on as a committee. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I now put the question that new clause 27H be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 27H be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 27H be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Millie, you're also welcome.
New clause 27I.
Mover 27I.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I heard Honorable Millie saying that we need to go to division on that one, but she didn't rise in her place, Honorable Chair, so that we can do it. Allow me also to appreciate Honorable Chepkut, who is a member of my committee, and who I can confirm is back to normal and working very actively and dealing with matters as he has always done, like a 5-star general. Honorable Chair, I move that new clause 27I be now read a second time, and this clause, Honorable Chair, relates to fire disaster management system. We're saying a county shall place or shall put a fire disaster management system in place for the purposes of dealing with the disaster relating to fire, which has always in this country been such a menace. And therefore, we are giving the various provisions on how that shall be done, together with, that is a committee, together with the executive, county executive, and the county assembly of each of our counties. I thank you.
I propose the question that new clause 27I be now read a second time. We shall start with the Honorable Odhiambo Okoth, member for Suba North.
Chair, I'm not calling for division. Chair, let me just say that I support the provision. And in supporting the provision, I just want to say that one of the things that I've seen they are doing is mainstreaming gender, even in disaster preparedness and management. The only thing that unfortunately I've come late, which I had a problem with, is the composition of the main committee, which is too government heavy, but we'll have a time ahead to probably amend it later. But otherwise, I think giving the county this mandate is very, very important, especially because of the, the prevalence of disaster, especially with climate change and the effect of climate change. So I really do support that. Thanks.
The Honorable Ishungu Akimani, member for Kikuyu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support, especially Honorable Speaker, in having a responsibility of the County Executive Committee member to be responsible in the development of fire management system in particular counties, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the kind of disasters that we have in this country, I think the most prevalent of them is fire. Be it fire in our slums in Nairobi or the frequent fires in Gikomba, which nobody knows the cause. If the county executive member for Nairobi, for instance, knows that there are frequent fires in Gikomba market, part of the management that should be there within Gikomba is to ensure that there is a fire station that is within the proximity of Gikomba or any other places where we are susceptible to fires. Honorable Speaker, this weekend on Sunday, I witnessed, Honorable Speaker, as I went to Baringo, a very unfortunate incident between the counties of Kiambu and Nakuru counties along the Limuru, Mahiu Road, actually in the Honorable Chair's constituency. Yes. A case where somebody is using a forklift to lift a gas, LPG gas tanker. And you can imagine, Honorable Speaker, they are lifting that gas tanker and there is no provision for any fire management system at the time you are lifting. And it is common sense, Honorable Speaker, that when you are lifting either an oil tanker carrying flammable material, LPG, there is likely to be a fire. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if we had such a provision in law that whoever is transporting such LPG gas and needs to lift it from one trailer onto another, there ought to be a fire management system at that particular point. The forklift should have been there, and there should also have been a firefighting engine that would put out LPG gas. It's only by God's grace, Honorable Speaker, that was not probably on an evening, a busy evening, like Sundays when everybody is moving back to Nairobi. You can imagine the kind of disaster we would have had to deal with. Was there traffic jam along that road, as usually the case from Mahiu going upwards to the Mutarakwa in Limuru constituency, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, it's important, Honorable Speaker, that we mandate our county executive members to ensure that there is a fire management strategy and policy in each and every county, so that they are even able to map out areas where fires are likely to occur and ensure that they also commit resources through their county assemblies to make sure that if in a particular village, Honorable Speaker, people, even the kind of housing that are in villages and our slum areas, Honorable Speaker, it's very easy to map where are we likely to have fires more than anywhere else, and also ensuring there is accessibility, especially in our slum areas, for fire engines and water hydrants to be available in particular areas. And this, Honorable Speaker, with devolution is only possible if the county executive members are able to be held to account. And with that, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Honorable Ishungwa, you will realize that common sense is not as common as it should be. The Honorable Martin Owino, member for Ndiwa.
Chair, I really want to support this because I think Honorable Ishungwa is right. The most frequent disasters are fire, and B captures this very well, that there should be provision of adequate personnel and equipment. Chair, not only for the management of disasters, but I like this part for the prevention of disasters, which sometimes are caused by illegal connections of power and all those. If we can avail that, we can invest in prevention and of course, deter most of the fires which will be in place. So I support.
I put the question that new clause 27I be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 27I be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 27I be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedule.
I propose the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. There's no amendment to this. I therefore now put the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New schedule.
Mover?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair proposed that the new schedule be part of, be read a second time. Honorable Chair, the justification to this is that we are providing for the conduct of business of county disaster management committees. Having established such committees, then it is only fair and right and procedural that we establish the procedure of conduct of business for such a committee. Thank you.
I propose the question that the new schedule be now read a second time. I see interest from the Honorable Okello, member for Nyando.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just to add that this is going to give them what we would call modus operandi, the systems of work when the committee has been set up. Otherwise, it will serve no purpose enacting a committee to undertake disaster management within our counties and not giving them the mandate and the necessary tools to do so. And therefore, I support.
The Honorable Odhiambo Akoth, member for Suba North.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I do support also for the same reasons that we then need to give them mandate to work. But Chair, I just wanted to congratulate the committee as well for the excellent amendments. Actually look through them. The only thing that I saw missing is that we needed to provide or make linkages with the Victim Protection Act, that when you have disasters, it actually creates victimology, especially if it is man-made disasters or man-initiated, because disasters come in different forms. And in that kind of circumstance, I was hoping that you could actually have, how do you identify if there are many victims of disasters? How do you identify? So that is actually something that is missing, that, again, perhaps because now it's a bit late, we can think about in future. But otherwise, the committee did very, 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 very good amendments. Thank you.
I put the question that new schedule be now read a second time. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that the new schedule be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new schedule be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chair?
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 2 be amended as per the order paper. And basically, this is addressing the issue of the definition of the term disaster management, which is used in the bill, which now needs to be properly defined. And that is the amendment that we are carrying in clause 2, or we are proposing in clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. The Honorable Oyo Onyango, member for Muhoroni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for honoring me. I wish to reinforce what the chair has just said, because in effect, many of disaster committees, especially in my county, you only see them when there are floods. And the level of preparedness is very wanting. Even when they come, they lack tool of trade, meaning they only exist by name. So I think that will go a long way to solve this kind of unpreparedness. Thank you.
I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. That's the end, honorable members, for that one. I will now call upon the mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Disaster Management Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Disaster Management Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2019, and its approval thereof with amendment. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as members of our current opinion say nay? The ayes have it. You will see from your order paper that the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill was deferred. So we shall now move to the Alcoholic Drinks Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2019 by the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro. Honorable members, we shall proceed with the Alcoholic Drinks Control Amendment Bill. So we shall proceed. There are no amendments. We shall move because there are no amendments made by the mover, but the amendments proposed by the committee, and which I believe we can handle here. Yes, the Honorable Ishungwa.
Chair, you know, we are all legislators and we come here for serious business, Honorable Chair. And you see, Chair, ordinarily I'm never here at 9. I would be on top of a car somewhere now. But I had to be here. Of course, I would be working from on top of a car. Now I had to come and work on, from this desk, Honorable Chair. And it's only fair, and I think, Honorable Chair, the Speaker has ruled before, the substantive Speaker, that on private member bills, Thank you, Chair. I wanted your attention because the substantive Speaker, Honorable Chair, I think has communicated to the House before that on private member bills, if the member, the proposer or the mover of the bill is not available in the House, then the rest of us have no business conducting business on their behalf. And Honorable Chair, it would only be fair because if we were to proceed, I am seated here to report to the House who we report because the Chair may not be able to report on behalf of the mover, and I therefore want to move, Honorable Speaker, that we do drop that particular bill, Honorable Speaker, and I can see the Chair is vehemently supporting me.
Honorable members, I agree that now that the Honorable Sylvanus Osoro is not in the House, I think in line with the directions of the Speaker, that when such business is reached and called out and the member is not there, then the business should be dropped and it goes to the bottom of the pile of the business that awaits us members' private bills. And that is exactly the fate that the business that is listed under the name of Sylvanas Osoro will now attract. So I therefore direct that the business listed as order number 11, Roman 3, the Alcoholic Drinks Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2019, is hereby dropped, and it goes to the bottom of the list of bills awaiting consideration. So, honorable members, will allow me then to go back so that we can deal with the reporting on the National Disaster Management Authority bill. We will consider the reporting of the National Disaster Management Authority bill. I call upon the chairperson to move reporting.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the National Disaster Management Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2019, and approved the same with amendments.
The mover, the Honorable Ishungwa.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Millie Odhiambo to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
The Honorable Odhiambo.
Thank you. I do second and congratulate Honorable Ichungwa for a good job and for the committee for also an excellent job.
Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report.
Put the question.
Honorable members, I direct that the next necessary steps in this particular proposal will be undertaken when the matter will be set down on the order paper for the finalization thereof. And I want to thank the Honorable Ishungwa for this wonderful bill that he has brought to this House. I think this country needs these proposals and to be made into law. I think it will be useful to our country. So the next necessary steps will be undertaken when the matter will be set down on the order paper. The Honorable Ishum, all right, you will have a minute to say what you. The Honorable Ishungwa.
Honorable Speaker, I think everybody understands the fate that has fallen the next stage. But allow me, Honorable Speaker, to thank the chair of the committee and in absentia, Honorable Speaker, and posthumously to thank the former chair of the committee, the late Honorable Paul Koinange, because as you realize, Honorable Speaker, this is a bill that I drafted in the year 2019, and indeed the Honorable Paul Koinange, the late Honorable Paul Koinange, was instrumental in fast-tracking the processing of this bill to the second reading, and we engaged with the committee before his passing on. And the week before, 2 weeks before he was hospitalized, Honorable Speaker, I had raised the matter with him, and that's why I want to posthumously thank the late Honorable Paul Koinange for his hand in being able to fast-track this very important bill for our country, and also to thank the current chair, the Honorable Mwadhi, my neighbor from Limuru, and all the members of the committee for having fast-tracked the third reading. And I think, Honorable Chair, the leader of majority will now appreciate what was described by the substantive speaker as a moment of the House going crazy when we sought to shock the House Business Committee, Honorable Speaker, in being able to prioritize private members' bills. Because you see some of the bills that were being held without coming to the floor of the House were indeed very critical bills. And I thank also the House Business Committee that the moment of the House going crazy did jot them to action, and they have been able to also fast-track many of these bills to come before the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I direct that we move on to the next business.
Order number 12, the Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2020, second reading, resumption of debate.
Honorable members, this particular business had attracted the participation of 22 members at the last break. The Honorable Gogo Achieng was on the floor and she had a balance of 9 minutes. Is she in the House? She's not in the House. So therefore the chance goes to the Honorable Oyo Onyango, member for Moroni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, again for honoring me with this time. Mr. Honorable Speaker, I want to express my feelings about the experience I have on the ground, that the community health workers are very important, given that most of the health centers and the hospitals are far away from where many people live, and these people are supposed to be prepared very well for the challenges that they go through every day in their working life. I want to, now that health is involved, want to call upon the county mandarins, county chiefs, the governors, and those chief officers who are concerned with this issue to take it up very seriously and make sure that these staff are given requisite training, and they're also given tools of trade to enable them to go about their businesses properly. That what is also lacking is that in most cases they don't lack tool of trade, and medicine is also lacking in the government hospitals, more so since the devolution when the hospitals were taken over by the governors. You find that necessary medicine, including even as simple as common Panadol, are missing in hospitals, and each time that these people are going about their businesses, they have to prescribe drugs to poor people in the ground who are supposed to go and buy. And after they have bought them, sometimes these people are moved to, because they are also few. We also want the county government to increase the number so that it becomes, the officers become available within a short distance of where they're supposed to work. And this if well done well, and the county government takes it seriously, it should go a long way in improving the health care of our people. With those remarks, I support.
The Honorable Kaunya Oku, member for Teso North. It appears like the Honorable Kaunya is not in the House. Then Honorable members, that would mean that the Honorable Uyaya Misi, the members for Sabote, and as the member for Sabote contributes, the mover should be preparing to reply.
Thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this bill. From the onset, I support. Mr. Speaker, community health workers are integral professionals in our society, right from the local level, community level. They are in touch with the community, they understand the language, the environs, they understand the people, and they're able to deal with the issues that arise health-wise on first hand. So it is important that these very important professionals in our society are regulated and entrenched in our government as professionals, recognized both at the national level and the county levels. We have had most of them working mostly unpaid, some working as volunteers, some just getting small tokens or recognitions, but the work they do go beyond what we give them as a society. So it is important that this be part of the appreciation to these very important professionals who have saved life. They have always a first point of call whenever health problems arises around the community. So it is important, Mr. Speaker, that, and I want to congratulate the mover of this bill for coming up with this important bill to recognize very important health workers to be entrenched in our professionals. I support, Mr. Speaker.
The mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In reply to all that has been said, I want to thank all the members who contributed to this bill. And Mr. Speaker, they did it positively, meaning this is a reality. In our healthcare delivery strata, level 1 is the first point of call. Because, Mr. Speaker, level 1 is where we have people who are overwhelmed by the situation, is where we have people who are ignored, is where we have people who are self-medicating because they are poor, they cannot even afford medicine. This is where we have health decisions made. They're all in level 1 in a household. This is where we have people who are calling shots, the grandmas and babas and mamas. Level 1 is where we have health education, Mr. Speaker, telling people what to do and what not to do. This is where we can have also basic screening and encouragement. And so you have to move now to the hospital. Mr. Speaker, level 1 is where we can have support system. A reminder, it is time to take your medication. And this is where we have disease prevention, advices, health education on nutrition and sanitation so that we prevent diseases. This all happen in the households level, which is recognized in our public health policy, but is not being effected well because of what I'm going to say ahead here. This is where we have early disease detection because, Mr. Speaker, the reason why healthcare cost is so high is that we miss detecting diseases at a household level so that intervention can be swift and effective. So that when we refer them, they are not under disabilities. The Speaker, level 1, even expecting mothers, this is where they encourage that you need to have 4 clinics during your pregnancies. And some are even escorted by community health workers to ensure that that is done. All this happens at this lower level. Mr. Speaker, also the health and support system. Biomedical intervention is not the answer for treatment. We have to have support system. And I said earlier, somebody who come and check, have you taken your meds? Have you taken full dose? The Speaker, in Rwanda, those who are taking ARVs, they don't take themselves. They are given by community health workers. And the drug resistance have really gone low because drugs are taken on time and full dose are given. We were talking about first aid. If we don't give first aid at that level, people come to higher levels like level 2, 3, 4, even to the tertiary level in conditions that are delimiting. So this is the place where we, if empowered, if equipped, as we envisage in the bill, and if motivated, the response will be swift and many injuries will be deterred. But allow me also, Mr. Speaker, to dismiss some notions which are coming around this speaker, around this bill. Mr. Speaker, one of them is the county governments argue that if you invest in community health workers, it will be expensive. That is not true. In fact, it is the reverse. If we intervene earlier in disease identification, detections, in primary vaccinations. In fact, we save a lot in the tertiary care because admissions will not be there, advanced cases will not be there. We would have dealt with them at the lower level. There is also a notion that if we organize community health workers, because we are creating a council for them, they will be strong, they will have CBAs. Mr. Speaker, the right to associate and even picketing is in the Constitution. And in fact, we will reap more from an organized community health workers force than if they are disorganized, because they can even still do that in their present status. So that is not true. If we organize them, they have their rights, they have their communication system, they will be more useful to our healthcare delivery system than the status they are now. The third one is if we can have standards, because the council, if created, will have training standards, will acknowledge them, register them, and provide oversight. If we have that, Mr. Speaker, then we will have a very motivated, empowered, regulated, acknowledged community health workers with the standards across the country. That means that community health worker in Dewa is the same as in Mandera in terms of knowledge, equipment, and remuneration. Right now, these community health workers are paid differently with the different commodities. Some are given bicycles, some 5,000, some 2,000, some are not paid at all. So there's chaos. And yet, it's a very important workforce in our healthcare delivery system. So, Mr. Speaker, in reply, I want to say that if we equip, we motivate, and reward these community health workers and a council who will be organizing all this, then the gap in the human resource for health will be reduced. Then, and also the advanced cases that progresses because of missed cases or mismanaged conditions will also reduce. Even referral to our tertiary care system, level 6, will also drastically reduce, or they will be dealing now with specialized cases, which they should do when the primary healthcare system is strong. So I want to thank those who have contributed to this, and the next section, there will be some amendment, which is good, so that community health workers are identified, selected, and trained, and they live in the community and serve in that community where they live. With those, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply.
You have done well. I direct that the next necessary steps in regard to that business to be undertaken when it will be set